Hello everyone, so today we're going to work on one-step equations. I'm going to go through quite a few examples of these and how we can solve these. So we'll start with a basic one, something where we have an unknown or an x, and then we're going to add to that unknown 5, and we are going to get the number 10. So this one's pretty easy to do, and you can probably do it in your head, and this is just saying that there's some number plus 5 equals the number 10. You can probably figure out what number that is. But when we solve these one steps, I'm going to show you the methods or the ways that you solve, so when you get to more complex equations, it's not as tough. So what you should do to solve this, even though you might be able to do it in your head, is show the work and show that you're doing the opposite of what's happening to x. So x is, in this case, is being added 5. So we need to subtract 5 from both sides. And what happens is we get x, positive 5 minus 5 is 0, x plus 0 is just x, so I don't need to write that. And then you have 10 minus 5, and that is the number 5. So 5 is our answer for solving a one-step equation. So that is the first one-step equation that we're going to have solved. So let's erase that and do another one. So another common way we could see something like this is that there is an unknown or an x. We could say minus 7 equals 2. So there's some number that when you take away 7, that equals 2. Well, like the last problem, I need to be doing the opposite of whatever this minus 7 is. So I need to add 7 to both sides. And I add 7 to both sides, and I get x equals 2 plus 7, and 2 plus 7 is 9. So that's how you solve a problem with a variable in it, and you're just solving this one-step equation. There's other ways in which this is probably almost even more likely to solve one-step equations if you have something like this. 2x equals 20. Well, what actually does this mean? And what this actually means is that there's a number, 2, times some unknown number, because x is a variable, we don't know it, so there's 2 times x. Remember, if I don't see a mathematical operation, so if I just have a number written and then just a variable or a letter, it means multiplication. So 2 times x equals 20. So up here, we had to do the opposite of subtraction, so we did addition. So over here, we need to do the opposite of multiplication. So we have to divide by 2 and divide by 2. So I get x equals 10. You can always plug these back in and see if they make sense. 2 times 10, so 2 times 10 equals 20. Okay, let's do one more that's sort of tough, and hopefully it'll be helpful. So let's say that we have an unknown of x, and we have x divided by 4 equals, we'll say 8. So in this case, I have x divided by 4 equals 8. Couple of ways to solve this problem. We have a fraction right here. We need to get rid of the denominator. X is our numerator. So if I want to do the opposite of dividing by 4, I can show it this step where I multiply 4 to both sides. So what happens is this is 4 times x over 4, and I get left with just x on this side, okay? And that equals 8 times 4, which is 32. Let's see if that number makes sense. 32 divided by 4 equals 8? Yes, it does. So that is us going through pretty much the 4 basic types of one-step equations that you might have to solve.